everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm doing another after movie discussion. So I actually saw the movie again. I just really couldn't help myself and I wanted to see it again, and so many people were saying that it was better the second time around. So I just decided to go see it again, and I am so glad that I did. I do have an initial after movie discussion video that I'll leave down below that you can go check out. I do still feel the same way about certain things about the movie, but this is like my second opinion slash like I saw the movie again, these are my thoughts. And like the other video, I will have a spoiler-free section and then a spoiler section, and I will leave timestamps and everything down below so you can check it all out. So yes, I just really couldn't stop thinking about the movie, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go see it again. I went by myself. It's the first time I've ever saw a movie in theaters by myself, which was really weird, but I just really wanted to see it again, so I did, and I am so happy I did because I loved it so much more, and like I actually truly really liked it. It seems like the tiny issues that I had with it kind of don't matter to me anymore. Like I don't know how to explain my feelings on it now. I really wish I had the day to think about the movie when I first saw it and like slept on it and then filmed my review the next day, because I feel like I would have, not that I would have said anything different, but I don't feel like I was too harsh, but maybe I was a little bit, because seeing it for the second time, a lot of the little things didn't bother me anymore. And it was like, I don't know how to explain it, honestly. I mean, there are still some things that I, still feel strongly about. Overall, I think if you can go see it a second time, do that, because the more money the movie makes, the more chances we have at having a sequel. It's not for sure yet. It's still very much up in the air, especially with the like US, Canada box office numbers. It did amazing overseas, but it's still, I feel like, is kind of up in the air with the numbers from the US and Canada. But by the time this video goes up, this is going up on Monday. I'm filming this on Sunday, so yesterday. Maybe they'll have news on Monday after like the weekend numbers. I don't know. We'll see. If my initial review scared you, like still go see it because I still think it's worth it, but just bear in mind that it's pretty different. I did feel like the pacing of the movie and the editing was better the second time I saw it. I feel like it just flowed better the second time. I think it's also because you know what to expect when you see it a second time. I feel like honestly the first time we all see it, we are going into it comparing it to the book. We're going into it critiquing every little thing to be like, oh, that didn't happen in the book. It wasn't like that in the book. And we forget to just like enjoy the movie and just like appreciate the movie for what it is and appreciate the book for what it is. I know there were a couple comments in my first review of how they hated the movie, they thought it was trash. I'm sorry you didn't like it, but don't blame Anna either. Yes, Anna was a producer, but there are so many people above her that she doesn't get the final say. There are still things out of her control that she couldn't have done. So I feel like if it weren't for her, it would have been completely different. And I feel like we would have saw something totally different. Am I happy with it as an adaptation? Yes. Do I love it as an adaptation? No. Do I love it by itself? Yes, if that makes sense. I love it as a movie itself. Anna replies to a lot of like comments on Instagram, and please, for the love of God, stop sending her like hate and like mean messages, because that does not help her. Like it really doesn't. There was a person that complained about the movie and she commented, she said, I agree 100%, some things were out of my hands and there were a lot of limits put on me. I'll make it up for it, don't worry. Meaning she'll make it up for the next one, if we do get a next one. I'm sure a lot of you think that she had so much control, but like she only had so much say in it. And I feel like people are still blaming her, and that's not fair because there's still people above her. There were so many like cute montages and moments, and it was really sweet, but also like it felt more heartbreaking the second time I saw it. I think because I wasn't thinking about the book, I wasn't comparing it to the book, I was just watching it as a movie itself, and I was like, oh my god, this is much more heartbreaking the second time I see it. I literally almost felt like crying the second time. And I think the reason why we felt so disappointed at first, not to say that I was super disappointed, but I think why we felt that way is because we went into it comparing it to the book. We went into it thinking, we just thought about the book the entire time we were watching it, and I just felt like we forgot that this is like an adaptation. This is not a page to screen thing, right? So I get it. I still am disappointed about certain things, obviously, but I think overall I loved it so much more the second time. I did love it. I did love it the second time, and I'm really glad I went to go see it again, and I can't wait to see it again and again and again. And yes, the soundtrack was also so much better the second time. Like, I liked it the first time, but listening to it again, I was like, this soundtrack is bomb. Like, I really loved it. And I felt their chemistry more as well the second time. I felt like their acting was a little bit better the second time. I just feel like watching it, it just like I processed everything better and calmer and collected, and I was like, okay, I like this. Like, I really love this. I just thought it was great, and I'm sorry for those who didn't love it. So I think that is it for the non-spoilery section. Now I'm gonna get into a little bit more spoilers. It's not gonna be super long. I feel like I talked a lot about everything in the first video, but I still wanna go over some spoilery stuff now. So I wanna talk about the bet. A lot of people were upset that they changed the bet. I think I said in my first video how it didn't really bother me, like I understood why they changed it, but I kind of want to talk more about that and why I'm okay with them changing it. So obviously, you know, Hardin is a complete asshole in the books, and like he's so harsh, he's so mean. I get it. Obviously the movie, he's, you know, a softer version. He's not so hot-headed, and so it wouldn't make sense for the bet to be that harsh because Hardin himself is not that harsh in the movie. So that's why it made sense to me. Also, another thing, Anna did write these books when she was like in her early 20s. Not to say that she feels differently about her own books now, but I do feel like, you know, she wrote these books years ago, and the view on virgins in society, I feel like, is why they changed it in the movie. And I'm glad they didn't make a big deal about Tessa being a virgin. And yes, it was mentioned, and yes, I feel like they had an important moment when, you know, Hardin and Tessa had sex for the first time, and it was like an important moment. I'm really not making sense, but I'm just glad they didn't make a big deal out of it, because being a virgin is not a big deal. And I feel like as girls, we are so pressured by it with society. And so yes, it shouldn't be targeted toward a teen audience, but at the end of the day it is. And so it makes sense to me. I'm sorry that you're angry about that, but like, I'm glad they didn't make a big deal out of it, because it shouldn't be a big deal to be a virgin or anything. But like, yes, it still took away from the actual book and, you know, how the characters actually are. Yes, I get it. But I just don't think it would have made sense, because Hardin is not that harsh in the movie. And so that would have never made sense. Like, it just would have been completely out of character for movie Hardin to do that. So that's why I was okay with it. I just wanted to like clear that up, how I felt about it, because I don't feel like I fully went over it when that was like a huge issue for people, was the bet changed. But yeah, I loved Hiro and Joe so much more the second time I saw it. Hiro's acting was better the second time. I was still like, I liked him the first time I saw the movie, but I mean, he wasn't perfect like Joe was, but he was so much better the second time I saw it. And I do feel like he did have some like inner anger. I really wish they would have included the guitar smashing, because I wanted to see more of his actual turmoil, like inner hatred, or like, you know what I mean? I wanted to see more of that, because you saw, obviously, he wrecked a few things in the house at like Ken and Karen's. So I wanted to see one more scene of him like actually destroying stuff. So I feel like they should have included that. That added scene would have made sense. Like, then I would have truly believed that he was like so upset, you know? Yeah, I loved all of the cute montages of them like falling in love and being together. It was super cute. I'm still mad that there were no I love yous said. Still mad about that, but that means when they say it in the next one, it'll be much more strong, I guess. I forgot to talk about this in in my first review. But I loved how we got to see Hardin writing in a notebook. I feel like that was really important, and obviously that ties into the rest of the series. So I love how we still got to see like a small snippet of that. Yeah, there were a lot of deleted scenes, and I feel like I noticed more of them when I was watching it second time. Obviously there were the two that I discussed in the first video, Ken talking to Tessa and the guitar smashing. I think there was another scene where Hardin says, "You were stunning." I think there were a couple like other kissing scenes that wasn't in the movie that were like seen in the trailers. I believe there was a conversation about like who is Hardin Scott that wasn't in the movie. I noticed this the second time, but you know when like Tessa puts on makeup for the first time and then she goes in the closet and then you see her like take off the makeup, she's wearing a different top. So I'm wondering, were there other scenes before that to like cause her to take off her makeup and like do that? Because she was wearing a different top. I know she was like in the closet and she could have changed, but I feel like there was something else that happened before that. And also the whole car scene with Jace and Tessa, I feel like there was more to that scene than what we got, because Tessa seemed like really irritated with him to be like, where is he? I feel like there was a little bit more to that scene than what we got, but I don't know, that could just be me like guessing. I was actually just in the middle of editing this, and then I had some more thoughts that I just had to add. So I know in my initial review I talked about how Zed wasn't a threat in the movie, and that confused me and all of that, but this is what I think is going to happen for the second movie. So I feel like because obviously the bet, you know, broke Tessa, and she is obviously still in love with him, but her trust is kind of broken, right? So I feel like her and Hardin are obviously going to try to make their relationship work, but because it's not as strong, that's when Zed will come into the picture, or it'll be Trevor. I feel like they might not do the whole Zed thing. I feel like maybe they'll just put in Trevor instead. Not that it wouldn't make sense, but I just feel like because of the way that like they didn't really have any friendship or connection in the first movie, it would kind of be like, what? So now Zed's like in the picture. So I feel like they might just forget about that storyline. Maybe. This is just my thoughts, okay? Like, don't get mad at me, whatever. And then they just might put in Trevor in the picture instead, or who knows, they may do both. They may, you know, both guys might be in the picture and threaten Tessa and Hardin's fragile relationship. I feel like that makes sense now that I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so they're kind of back together, they're working it out, their relationship is not that strong. Then comes in Zed or Trevor or both or whatever, and then we have that issue. So yeah, it makes sense now that I like think about it. And yes, I feel like if they would have had the Zed storyline in the first movie, honestly, it would have been too much plot happening. Like, you know, when you watch a TV show and there's so many plots happening, and then some of them just get forgotten in the background, or some of them just don't line up and flow in the end. I feel like that's how it would have been with the movie if they would have added in the whole like Zed having sort of a relationship with Tessa, or like a friendship or whatever. It just would have been difficult because I feel like there was so much going on, and I'm kind of glad they just focused on Hardin and Tessa like falling in love instead of like throwing in another thing. Am I explaining this good enough? I don't know if I am. Even though I was upset with the lack of Zed in the first movie, I feel like it makes sense, and it also just would have been too much, like too many things happening. And I'm glad it just focused on Hardin and Tessa like falling in love. I think that's it for spoilers, so now I'm just gonna wrap it up really quick. Yeah, the pacing was just so much better the second time I saw it. Like, it just flowed better because I think I wasn't thinking about the book so much. I was just thinking like, oh, I want to keep watching this movie and like to see how it goes. I just thought it was so much better the second time. I really like can't stop thinking about it. Like, I'm super emo about this now. I just can't stop. It's so funny because I read these books back in like 2015, and I loved the books back then, but now I just feel like I'm so much more consumed about it. Like, it's consuming me. I don't know how to explain it. I think just because now it's like, it's a movie now and it just feels so much more real. And I'm just like, oh my god, I love everything about this. I love the books by themselves. I love the movie by itself. I love them both. Like, I'm just so in it. And I really hope that we get a second movie, and I really hope that this franchise continues, because I do want to see the movies continue in their own unique way. And I'm just really, really happy and excited. And I loved it so much more the second time. I feel like there were quite a few deleted scenes, and those, I'm sure, hopefully, fingers crossed, will be on the DVD. Hopefully they'll do like an unrated version, or like a different version, or like just a lot of deleted scenes. I hope they do a different movie version on the DVD, because then we'll be able to see how it was before they edited it down, because they clearly edited things out, which I'm sure would have helped the story make more sense, but that just happens with movies. So go see the movie, go support it. Even if you didn't love it that much, please, please support it so we can get a second movie, and so that things can be obviously improved and just better. Like, I truly have a feeling the second movie will be so much better. So please go support it. Go see it if you can. I'm sorry if you truly felt like you hated it. I understand how you feel, like I truly do, because I was so disappointed when I first saw it. But the more I thought about it, and the second time I saw it, I'm just like, I'm so in love. I'm so gone. I'm so there. I'm becoming a true after stan now. Like, I was a stan, but now I'm like truly a stan, you know? Go see it, go support it. See it a second time if you can. I probably won't talk about the movie for a while. Hopefully we'll get news on a sequel soon, and I'll probably mention that in an on-topic video, so stay tuned for that. But that is it for my second opinion, second review. If you saw it a second time, let me know your thoughts about it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!